the
As usually we're always still playing grab ass when we come online, but who gives a shit? It's not like there's 1,000 of y'all out there watching, right? And those of you that are we're waiting, well, hopefully you'll understand. What do I need to do? Oh, a watch link for the actual for my channel, Delio?
Yeah, so I can send it out on Twitter.
Right here it is, sir. I'll send that out on Twitter, but I think you have a much larger reach than I do anyway.
Really?
I doubt that. I've got the YouTube video open next to me as well. So
yeah, I don't have very many. I got like 300 followers on the Twit.
Yeah, it's more than me. Shit.
Oh well, I didn't know.
I'll tweet out.
Like Clint's got thousands.
I'll tweet it. I'll tweet it out too.
Clint's
got thousands because he follows.
Yeah,
because he follows thousands of people.
Yeah,
but
probably
that's
got
fine.
something to do with it.
But if he wants to do that, that's fine. I'm not shitting on him. That's fine.
Yeah. Oh, the common sense guy might be joining us tonight. We got the white YouTuber coming on. I'm looking forward to it. Oh yeah, we're on.
Just stay up.
Well, I got to remember we're on air. I don't want to be a jackass. It's just the Whitey. The last time we had him on was a day show, like a regular Monday show, not like Police State that we do at. Everybody knows the late show, whatever. So it was the regular show on I think a Monday, and British had never heard the guy before, and everybody probably knows he's my partner. And so, not gay partner. Holy shit! I realized you can't say anymore. They've stole all the fucking words I know, so now I can't say anything anymore. It's just like, wow, I don't mean gay, but he's my co-host. So, Whitey told me before he came on, I was like, "What are y'all talking about?" I was like, "Oh, we're talking politics, Trump and shit." He's like, "Oh, fucking politics." He doesn't really care about politics, not those kind of politics. And he told me before he came on, he said probably have much to say, and he didn't. He said a few things, cracked a couple jokes. And so I'm really hoping tonight. In fact, I know what's going to happen tonight. He's going to do what he does. If I blow him up too much, he'll get pissed or whatever he does. I don't think he gets pissed, but he surely doesn't like people to stroke his ego. I think that he knows who he is and where he's at, and doesn't need everybody to tell him how great he is. So I'll just say he passes the bar, and I'm looking forward to him probably just like Sophane did when he showed up both times on chats that we've had on Police State. And I hope we get a chance to see a deep side of him that if you follow the guy anyway, you'd know. He just did something with the finer print. Oh my goodness, I'm fucking y'all's stuff up here. We're supposed to be doing this thing with Ben Shapiro, or we were talking about something cool before we went on, but I don't know how personal y'all felt it was. So I'm just going to chill back and let y'all kind of take over and ride the ride. I got my ticket, Lion. Let me ride the ride, baby. Take over.
All right. Can you screen share, or do you want to screen share Tiger?
Oh, no.
With the actual video?
So you want me to start the video now? Because remember what we talked about. When I do that, I'm going to be incognito.
Well, I can, if you want, I can actually run the video. You guys just tell me when to stop.
Will we get audio also? Here, let me try this. I'm already set up. Just remember what we said. All you got to do is let it play. And when you say stop, I'll just stop and let you two bullshit. And if I feel like coming in, I'll come in. If not, you'll just say, play the video, and it'll start playing again. I'll be right here.
Okay. Let's give it a shot. You play music through the streams. You know, when you do you play music and through the streams, you know.
All right, well, let's start with one of the topics in the news today, and that's healthcare. And I'm going to start with Ben.
Stop the video.
Are you proud or...
Okay, but right before this happened, he goes, with the previous, this is just a stupid introduction. They had two people introducing it. The first guy that came out goes, we expected 1,000 people. We had 1,000 people last year. There's 3,000 people here. And the crowd goes, yeah, woo, ah. Why is that applause worthy? Like, what the, okay, congratulations. More people showed up. That? No, it was the guy before this guy, the initial introducer guy.
Oh, right.
And I tweeted that. I was like, why the fuck is 3,000? Okay, yay, you showed up to something. Woo, here's your medal. Start the video.
We're disappointed in establishment GOP figures like John McCain, Lisa Murkowski, and Susan Collins for their vote on healthcare.
So I'm wildly disappointed with the entire party. The fact is that we were promised a full repeal of Obamacare. They did not even attempt to pursue a full repeal of Obamacare. And the fact of the matter is that there's a significant gap inside the Republican Party about whether this should even happen or not. There are people who believe that the Obamacare regulations are an affirmative good. there was an attempt to basically leave all the Obamacare regulations in place and just remove the funding mechanism, which would have led to the exacerbation of the death spiral. The truth about healthcare is this. There are three qualities of healthcare that you can have. You can have affordability, you can have universality, or you can have quality. And you can have two of those three things, but not all three. Right? You can have universality, affordability, or quality. Two of those three things you can have. And one of the things that's happened with Obamacare is that you've gotten closer to universality, but you haven't gotten any closer to either affordability or quality. And the Republican Party seems to be falling into the trap of basically just copying what the Democrats do, except being worse at it. What they actually need to do is relieve the regulatory burden that is driving up the cost of healthcare, and they need to stop acting as though insurance companies' jobs is actually just to reimburse people for their bad health. If you join up with an insurance company and your health sucks to begin with, you're going to pay more because it's an insurance company, not a charity. That doesn't mean that we can't have...
I love that line. I'm going to steal that line because that is so brilliant. It's an insurance policy, not a fucking charity. This whole no pre-existing conditions is such horseshit. You're not going to Blue or the Salvation Army. You're going to a fucking insurance company. They have a vested interest in protecting their bottom line. You negatively impact that with your pre-existing condition. I'm sorry you ate meat and drank dairy and shit your fucking health all to hell. Says the vegan. What do you think, Tiger?
Well, this whole thing about, because I've got some friends who live in the States and they're Democrats and they have they have concerns with this alternative to Obamacare that's trying to be put forward. And from hearing their perspective, general thoughts is that there's not enough on a sort of local levels. There's not enough competition,
right,
for free market, more sort of free market orientated healthcare to be a success. Obviously not everywhere in the States, but in certain areas there's just not enough competition. That's areas where where free market isn't as efficient. Just when
I don't think that's not fair, because the free market in the insurance company doesn't exist. The federal government regulates what insurance companies can work in what markets. It's the same thing with cable, internet, cable TV. The government says you companies get this particular neighborhood, you companies get that particular neighborhood. It's bullshit. If you eliminated the regulations on where people can go, then you would have actual free market competition. Let's not forget that health insurance.
I'm not saying that's not the issue. Yeah, I'm saying that's intertwined with it. Yeah.
I completely agree. The lack of competition is what is driving up health insurance costs. If we deregulate it, I hate that word because it's it's like the N word. Deregulation is a bad word, but it's really not when it comes to health insurance, not when it comes to accessibility. Anytime you eliminate regulation in a market, you are going to create competition. Health insurance exists through employers because employers started doing that to entice better employees. I mean, people think that it's like, oh, it's mandated that your employer has to provide health insurance. No, they did that as a whatever, you know what I'm saying. They were convincing people to come work for them by offering them this service. It's not like something that the government, everyone deserves insurance and your employer is going to provide.
It was a perk.
Yeah, exactly. It was a perk.
No, yeah,
and now it's supposed to be, and now it's expected.
No, you shouldn't be forced to offer health insurance to your employees. No, that's
right.
Stupid. But
I agree.
But yeah, in the UK, basically, we just have the National Health Service, which is completely obliterated any sort of competition or anything like that, and it's just fucking stupid.
And your NHS kills babies.
Charlie
Card. I stand with Charlie.
Well, that whole thing was just blown out of the fucking water. The only reason that was in the news is because it was just a...
Tiger, you're sick. You're a sick fuck.
What?
I'm sorry, it said Tiger. I meant lion. You were talking.
Oh, right.
I'll stand with Charlie. I'm sorry. Carry on, Tiger. I should just shut up.
The only reason that fucking thing was in the news is because it was just one of these fundraisers, fundraisers for a sick child. And there must be quite a lot of cases of terminally ill children every now and then, but this one happened to get more viral than others, and then everyone was just jumping on this bandwagon and not and it was just so stupid. I had no idea. I had no idea why it got so much traction in the media. That case,
because of Fields, man. It was Fields. It's just like in this situation here, this whole deal between Ben and Sink. It's Fields versus Reels. Simple as that. And Ben is the Reels. Sink, whatever the fuck is Sink.
No, it's Chunk. Fucking Chunk.
Sorry,
he's worth like $10 million or some fuck. Like
he's probably worth a lot more than that. He's still a scum. But I'm not supposed to talk like that about people anymore. I'm sorry, Brett.
Anymore. My parole officer says, go ahead and start the video up. Let's get the Chunk.
Worse than parole officer, it's the motherfucking Britisher. He's probably watching right now. He's like, really, Mr. Ogre, going to the ad hominems again?
Really, Mr. Ogre.
Oh wow! Tiger does it really good.
Why are you using such profane language?
Oh yeah, kiss his ass. He's fucking
Mr.
English.
Britisher,
English
if you are
accent
watching
really
right
good.
now, you have such a distinct voice that is so easy to imitate.
I couldn't do it. I'm not even going to try.
It's robotic. Look, I can't start bashing him because I've been busting my balls the last couple of days. He's good.
Why not? He's not here.
No hard feelings, Mr. Britisher.
No, I right now. Anyway, and he hasn't been bashing me. I just like to tease him. So anyway, folks, I need to be quiet again. This gets just as stank as it is now. But I don't know if you feel like we got enough merchandise. Let these boys roll through this first point each. Whatever you want to do, Ty. You just tell me what to do. I'll keep going off the line on the crazy train.
Go on with the video.
All right, here we go, gentlemen. This is pretty cool to me. But
Green shirt.
Now, that doesn't mean that we can't have some form of backup for people who have pre-existing conditions. I would hope that the social fabric would help fill that in. This is why I'm a big believer in charity and churches and synagogues filling that gap. But what we can't do is suggest, as the Bernie Sanders left does, that healthcare is an inalienable right, and therefore you can put a gun to my wife's head, she's a doctor, and you can force her to provide care at any cost you want to pay. We can't do that and hope to increase the supply of healthcare. Health insurance is not healthcare. They're not the same thing. And anybody who tells you differently is lying or trying to sell you something.
Excellent. Cenk, your take on the healthcare vote.
Great. Before I do that, first of all, welcome to the Thunderdome.
Pause the video. Are you kidding me with that? Hold on, let me move my mic. Are you kidding? Welcome to fucking Thunderdome, dude. What?
Is it called the Thunderdome? Or is he?
All right, you know what? You know why he says that? Well, because Are you familiar with what Thunderdome is?
No, what is it?
Okay, there was a movie in the 80s, I think. It was one of the movies that made Mel Gibson a star called Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. And it was a futuristic, dystopic, basically was set in a city, and Thunderdome was how they like solved disputes. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves is the theme of Thunderdome. Basically, it was a precursor to cage fighting, except that the cage was a literal dome of cage, and 2 people would go in. There was weapons in the cage, and they basically, they killed each other. But the reason why Cenk is saying that is because he is actually trying to channel. How do I screen share again? Where the fuck is screen share?
Rile up. Just on the left-hand side, there's that row of buttons, and you're looking for the green one.
So he's just saying something really kind of cringy.
He's riling him up. Lion's getting to it, but let me just hopefully put a cherry on top. He's trying to channel the feeling that this is some kind of battle. It is There you go. There you go, brother.
Yeah, he's here. Can you share me? Can you put me?
Yeah, you're being shared right now, brother.
Okay,
you're
good. Yeah, he's channeling his inner Tina Turner. He thinks that he belongs in the Thunderdome. It's like, come on, Chunk. You know, the little Jew is gonna kick your ass. He would kick your ass in Thunderdome.
Yes.
Could you imagine that? Shapiro would literally run circles around that fatty.
He might beat his ass. I mean, that was kind of funny. It has nothing to do with anything, but I would laugh my ass off if they were oiled up, like stripped to the loins, man, oiled up, and he just beat that fat fucker down. Like you said, run away from him, so tired, just poked him in his eye, man.
I would pay to see that. Oiled up Chunk chasing little Ben Shapiro around.
Master Blaster.
Who run Border Town?
Master Blaster run Border Town. Sorry.
He's been sitting on Chink being like, who run Border Town?
You got Anna. Yeah, you got Anna up there, right?
Or they're just having, or maybe a debate about healthcare doesn't need to be all kind of pumped up and childish. Yes.
Oh, Marcy.
Yeah.
That just threw me off. That
Did
was
you
so
hear the booing? Like, rewind it a little bit and play it again and listen to the booing.
Yeah, they really don't you know, you would think that because he does
some form of backup for people who have pre-existing conditions. I would hope that the social fabric would help fill that in. This is why I'm a big believer in charity and churches and synagogues filling that gap. But what we can't do, and anybody who tells you differently.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
Hear the booze? Look at his face.
All right. Let's hear him speak.
Yes.
That's
Guys,
what Cenk does. He kind of smiles all the time whenever anyone's kind of, talking shit about him. He just sort of smiles. Obviously. Let's just carry on from it.
All right. Let's hear him speak.
Yes.
All
Guys,
right.
wait till he does something. I mean,
In all seriousness, the reason that I kid around about that is that I really want to make sure that Ben's opinions are heard and my opinions are heard, and that there's an exchange of ideas. And believe it or not, there are some things that we do agree on, and what we won't be discussing those tonight. So on the issue of healthcare, let's get going. So the Democratic Party is incredibly proud that they defeated a bill that had 17% approval rating. It's a low bar, and I'm glad they held. The Republicans have a comical position, which is that why didn't the Democrats help us defeat Obamacare? Well, that's kind of because that was their idea, and why in God's green earth would they help you defeat their own plan? Now, is Obamacare enough? Not nearly. And there are a number of issues that we had as progressives with it, including lack of price controls. You left it in the hands of private insurance. And
Yeah, of course, Chink, start with a fucking straw man. Ben's point was that we were promised, and he's exactly right, when Trump was running, we were promised a repeal of Obamacare. Trump ran on the GOP ticket. He said, we are going to repeal Obamacare. It was on the GOP platform. He gets into office, the fucking Republicans block him from repealing Obamacare. And so here comes Chunk going, well, the Republicans are saying the Democrats didn't help him. That is not what fucking Ben Shapiro said. He said the Republicans promised one thing and did another. Typical fucking swamp politicians. And here comes Chunk making it about Democrats. I fucking hate this guy. Sorry.
And of course, them being corporations, which Ben kind of alluded to there, they're going to want to make money. And so that is very, very normal. And so I don't think that that was the right way to approach it. And it was originally a Heritage Foundation plan to begin with. So I believe that the right approach, and the one that Democrats should pursue next, although they probably won't, is Medicare for all. So real quick, let me explain why. Medicare polls a 77% and actually accomplishes the three things that Ben talked about. It's universal coverage, it is affordable, and actually gives you good insurance. That's why it polls at 77%. And
so Ben makes the point that you can have two of the three, but you can't have all three. Chunk's response is, you can have all three. What? You got some figures on that, genius?
It just sounds too good to be true at this point.
Yeah, precisely. Well, it's stupid. They say universal health care. It's this idea of free health care. It's not free. Someone's paying
as
for
Ben
it.
said, if it sounds too good to be true, someone's trying to sell you something. It's too good to be true.
Yeah, it is too good to be true. Well, Britain shows that, NHS. It's...
Oh, yeah. No, it's not free, because someone has to pay for it.
Yeah.
Fucking...
Yeah, and when the person that's paying for it is not the one receiving the services, they are less likely to be willing to pay for it. You know?
Everything's nice and sugary and spicy and... Sorry.
Oh, right on. We're bringing Thorne on. Awesome. Yeah, Thorne is so smart. I love doing a show with her.
Sick. Carry on the video.
Yeah.
Medicare for all now polling at 60%. Federally funded health insurance for everybody polling at 61%. So I tell to my Democratic friends, you might want to try something that's popular for a change. So,
Popular.
and finally, like on the idea that, hey, listen, everybody can't get health care. Well, this is not like furniture, which sometimes you allude to, Ben. You could have good furniture, bad furniture. I've had it all, right?
Pause.
That's optional. If you don't.
What
In
the
the
hell's
chat,
he on about?
I don't know. Captain Colepile in the chat goes, Chunk, well, he said Chink, but Sink, whatever the hell his name is, would be Blaster. Just blow a dog whistle. You know, for those who remember, Blaster was the retard that Master Blaster sat on top of. You got to look here. You know what? I'll Google that, Master Blaster, so you know what the hell we're talking about, Tiger. It's the characters from Thunderdome.
Oh, God.
Over on board of town.
Hey, Thorn. What the hell is he on about? He's just talking sort of simplistic crap.
That lost and he sat on him.
Yes. Well, Master was the guy on top, and then Blaster was the one on the bottom.
Yeah.
And, you know, they kind of they did
Cenk
end up
does
kind of killing each other, but it was.
Cenk does look. Oh, sorry.
It's been. I mean, it's first of all, the movie was made before I was born, but it's been a while since I've seen it too.
Oh, I was so young that it was scary to me. It really
Cenk
was.
does look comfortable.
Get out of me.
I was a screwed up kid. Like movies that scared most kids didn't scare me at all, and then there's movies that weren't scary at all that scared me.
I was a sensitive boy.
You would have been Master Blaster.
You know, mom's like, you were a weird little girl.
There we go. Thank you, sir. It was Master.
Cenk does look comfortable to sit on.
Yeah, right on his feet.
Like the big guy, you know.
I'm having a problem. I gotta drop out and in again.
I'd like to give him the beef stew. Sit on his face and give him the beef stew, like Sandlot style.
Things I would.
So
do to Cenk.
if Chunk is Master Blaster, or if he's Blaster, who would be Master?
Oh, that would
Anna?
have to be Anna. Yeah, Anna.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
There we go.
You know, she'd be sitting up there because she sits on his face sometimes. We all know that.
Oh God, you know what'd be so funny is to have them come out, Master Blaster, and have her go, "Get off the stage, you fat fuck!"
Oh Lord.
He's
right.
like, "Oh, it's all
I'm
right.
sorry,
Reasonable
Chief,
discussion."
You have to leave. We don't allow buffaloes in the area.
Bitch.
That would be actually funny to protest a Chink speech with signs that literally have a buffalo in one of those no signs, you know, with the line through it.
buffaloes in the arena.
No buffaloes.
No, I'd have stuff with great Anna quotes. I'm fucking better than you.
I can't believe she actually said that out loud. Like, I think it all the time, but I'd never say that out loud.
I was so happy that she said that because she's just being so brutally honest about how fucking sanctimonious she is. I was so happy she said that, really, because it's just, you know, absolute confirmation about the sort of fuckhead she is.
Indeed.
But anyway, in you.
You don't have good health care, you die. And
What the fuck?
and
Scaring them with death now.
What the fuck? If you don't have health care, you die because nobody can afford to pay their own bills.
You don't follow this specific kind of healthcare, you die.
so I view it as not something that capitalism should deal with, and I believe in capitalism, and I think they make great sneakers, but something that is about equality of opportunity, and you cannot have equality of opportunity if you're dead. So Medicare for all.
Are you what
the fuck?
the fuck kind of argument is that? You know, Chink, you can't be a buffalo if you're dead too.
Well, no, we're not going to. Well, you're not going to give healthcare to dead people. No, you're not. What the fuck is he on?
In the chat, Plasmaphere? Okay. Said, to be fair, if Chunk doesn't have health care, he would die because of the imminent heart disease.
Because of his clogged arteries.
Okay, go ahead. You know. So a couple of notes in response to the Medicare for All shtick. So this is Bernie Sanders shtick, obviously. The problem with Medicare for All is that when people say that it's affordable, this is affordable to the person who has the Medicare. It is not affordable to the country. In fact, it is so unaffordable to the country that the state of California was a nut job leftist state, just refused to even pass Medicare for All because it would have immediately doubled the debt. As far as the idea that Medicare, that medical care is a right, but it's not actually a good or a service, this is a way to make things less plentiful. If you declare things rights, but you don't actually incentivize the creation of those things, you don't get more of them. So the South African Constitution has right in there that healthcare is a right, that housing is a right. The fact is that you don't have good housing or healthcare in South Africa because just declaring things rights does not make them appear. What makes more things appear is a market-based system that creates more doctors, that creates more medical care, that creates more incentive for people to join up. So my wife is a doctor. That means she has to go through 1,000 years of medical training, and we have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to make her a doctor. The idea that you're going to have the government come in and then dictate the sort of care that she should provide to each particular patient, and then dictate how much she should be paid for that care, is going to lead to a decrease in the number of people who are going into the medical industry, which decreases the level of care overall. This is why I say that it is better to treat things as goods than as rights, because declaring something a right just means that you have the right to steal it from me. But declaring something a good means that you get a market process that leads to lower prices and better care over time. And the big problem we've had before Obamacare is that it was already treated quasi as a right. You had it heavily regulated on the state level. It is continually heavily regulated. The idea there's a completely unregulated market is absolute nonsense. The reason that you have employer-based health insurance in the first place was as a response to wage and price controls placed in the aftermath of World War II. And employers began giving health insurance as an actual good, right? They gave it as an actual incentive to their employees.
That sounds familiar. We were just talking about that, and he's so right.
Since we're mentioning World War II, one of my, I've said this a few times. I can't remember whether any of you guys were there when I did, but Coles, I think, was there up the National Health Service because it was there to kind of, clear up after the Second World War, in a sense. But even he could see how, however many years down the line, this is substantial. This is not a long-term. This should not be a long-term solution. Just the crisis of healthcare, well after the Second World War.
Well, I figured it out. I figured Ben Shapiro's secret out, and if you screen share me, you can see the secret. Underneath that yarmulke, he has a super smart mouse that is actually guiding him. Why else would he always wear the yarmulke? Something is under. He's got a bald spot. Maybe it's a bald spot. I don't know. I think it's
it's gonna be. That's why all us Jews get bald. Is from thousands of years of yarmulke on top. It's just natural.
It's just that clip, just pulling hair out.
Oh, right. That's where he. Yeah.
That's actually a thing. I forget what it's. Oh, it's called traction alopecia.
Male pattern baldness. Yeah, traction alopecia.
Yeah.
Well, no. African American women that wear weaves and wigs sometimes get it around the top here because it just pulls out the hair so many times that it just stops growing back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not to be gross, but anyone that's played American football and has worn an American football helmet for any length of time, imagine having a weave. Because it's basically the same thing, only you keep it on for months.
Oh, no.
I mean, I had a couple.
No, and I ain't going to try to bring a lot of sanity to this, but you folks were on it, man, and we're going to start talking about weaves and balds and Jews. And I know this is Thorne from Chicago, I believe, and I've been wanting to talk to him for a while, and I got to not do that. So I'll say one thing, man. So far, it's obvious. I already said it. Feels versus reals. You have somebody over there. Well, let's try. He started out by saying you can't have these three things together. And then here you go, Chank, just right away. Without saying you can have them and here's why, Ben said you can't have them, here's why. He was like, oh, well, we've got this thing, and it's all three of these things. No, Ben had to go right back to the baby and turn his face to the hot boiling water, slap his hand again and say, no, it's only affordable to the person that gets it. Mr. Ogre, Mrs. Thorne, Mr. Lion, Mr. Tiger, they've got to pay. Right. So somebody's paying.
Yeah, it's not a good deal for me. I'm a fucking veteran. My healthcare is already paid for. So any additional that I pay into would be me paying for someone else to get healthcare that I don't even get. And yes, I do get universal healthcare, but I earned it with my body over 4 years. I sold my body to the government in exchange for healthcare and education.
Well, plus you said you're a veteran and you fought in a war, so that means you should be taken care of for life. But let's look at it this way also, sir. we were talking before, Lion, and wouldn't we like to see you just be able to go to whatever doctor you want instead of the system you're in? It's a good example that the VA, it's nice you have the insurance, son, and I don't begrudge to help you get it the rest of your life, and you never pay a dime if you ever were in combat in any way, even if I don't care. So that said, hopefully it won't be the bureaucratic thing that they're trying to make all of healthcare right now, which is the
Well, I don't see a problem with universal health care. I don't. I think that people who pay into a system should see benefit from that system. However, if you're a lazy fuck popping out kids as an occupation, no, you don't deserve fucking health care. Go get a job, pay for your own shit.
Oh God! I just found out that my freaking my supervisor is one of those people.
Oh God! I have no respect for those people. Having children is not an occupation.
See your face. Here's what she meant to say is, I got your contract right here, sweet thing. Let me refer to if you will, Thorne. Let me see here. Page.
Oh no, like in.
Oh yeah, I see that's in clause 3. What Thorne meant to say is that her supervisor is a wonderful human being with diverse ideas, and she in no way has anything against he or she, and hopes that they advance rapidly through the company.
I saw that coming a mile away.
He's actually leaving. So
you know my damn contract book too, right? It's a Thor comic book.
That is funny.
Anyway, that was so dumb. Yeah, I guess you knew my stupid gag. I think it's new.
No, dude, it's okay. I just know you.
And the thing of it is I tried. I remember I'm so crazy, but now I've been doing live stream for a while, and so I'd always try to remember. Not and Thorne, you can say whatever the fuck you want. You can go on right now, give his name, address, say he or she's a cocksucker. But I just wanted to remind you that there are people watching, and sometimes on these streams, a couple hundred people will watch later, and you never know. It's a small world after all.
I say, considering that my job is shit and I don't care.
There you go.
We do the video.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was letting it derail. I just smoked this oil. I was thinking about my friend Lion, and I got a new pen, and I just got 7.5 grams of some of the best fucking PHO I ever had. So I forgot. Yes, I will get back on that right now. And it's medicine, folks. Don't hate on me. It's fucking medicine. I'm not getting high. I'm medicating. Big difference. Big fucking difference.
Color me jealous.
I was thinking of trying to get some of that for my anxiety.
And then a snort.
Too quiet.
Yeah, I don't got volume.
It's too quiet.
I can't hear the video.
You can hear me though?
Yeah.
Oh, I hit the wrong freaking button. I need a damn. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. This should do it now. If you can still hear me.
Bye.
All right. So, Ben, I don't want to steal health insurance from you. I want you to be healthy. That's why I want Medicare for all.
Yeah, pause. What the? This fucking. He's the king of fucking straw man. If he wasn't such a fat ass buffalo, I would say he is a straw man. Ben didn't say anything about stealing people's fucking health care. He was talking about paying for your fucking health care.
He's just saying things that sound nice. He's literally just saying stuff that sounds nice.
Employers began giving health insurance as an actual good, right? They gave it as an actual incentive to their employees. If you had an actual individual-based health insurance market, you bought it just like you bought your car insurance, you would see more and better health care for everyone.
True. What a great analogy.
Yep. All right. So, Ben, I don't want to steal health insurance from you.
You can tell the applause dies down. There's 5 to 10 seconds where he's like, so he has nothing. He can't rebut that.
It's because he's an idiot. I think there's a very good explanation. Cenk is an idiot.
He's an idiot, but also what Ben said was irrefutable.
Right, exactly.
He's an ideologue. All he has is his talking points and no actual refutation.
Should we carry on with the thing then?
I want you to be healthy. That's why I want Medicare for all.
That's a talking point.
You just want to take my money and my wife's services.
So, Republicans frame taxes as stealing. That's preposterous. So if we don't have taxes, Well, we can't do all the things that we want to do as a community. Now, there are some things that we just talked about that we don't want to do as a community, we want to do as individuals. In fact, the things that we want to do as individuals are much greater. That's why we're a mixed economy, but largely capitalist. And I agree with that. And I run a small business myself, getting larger every day. So
you wish.
But there are some things that the government should do. They should do the military, cops, roads, bridges, and yes, education and healthcare. That's because
larger every day.
That's how healthcare works. Paul Ryan had a whole press conference about this. Ben a little bit alluded to it there. They're like, oh my God, it turns out the healthy subsidize the sick. Yeah, that's insurance. That's how it works.
Thank you for explaining how insurance pools work.
Oh,
well, I was waiting for Lion on that. For one, I got to say, Lion made the argument before the stream started. Him and I were talking. He was like, in fact, we might have been streaming, but he was already saying, and I know he hasn't watched this, that yeah, it's gotten to this idea that your employer, it's their responsibility, but no, it started as employers wooing people to be in their employment by saying, we will offer you this commodity, this good.
Yeah,
and it's evolved from there. But yes, I thought that you might have something to say there, anybody, about what Shank just said.
It's a stupid point. It's an absolutely stupid point.
He literally described how insurance pools work, but what he doesn't fail to show is how putting everybody in one big pool is better.
Right. Well, and if you have 5 people paying for 100,000, that's not gonna work. That's the point. That's what Ben Shapiro is saying. That's the whole point of why universal healthcare, as it is designed now in America, will never fucking work, because you have too many couch potatoes going, oh, I deserve my healthcare. No, get off your ass.
With the welfare. The same with the welfare of these single mothers in poor communities. It's just people literally having more babies, single mothers having more babies just so they can get more benefits. It's just fucking...
Yes. I don't understand how Chunk and people like him don't understand human nature. Incentives drive human nature.
The whole thing with the single mothers, there's slightly more to it than that, but that's like a whole nother fucking stream. So
are you in a are you in a jar or something? What?
Me?
Yeah. What's with your volume?
A bit muffled.
Never mind. I'll fix it.
Oh, there you go.
Wait,
it's like the people with that are not getting into accidents are subsidizing the accidents. Yes, that's car insurance. That's how insurance works.
Pause.
And yes, taxes work.
You fucking idiot. Yes, and the people who get in the accidents pay more. The people who are 600 fucking pounds and can't leave their house should pay more. You idiot. Thorn transformed into a fucking dog. What in the shit?
It's a cute dog.
I see that, and I mean, it's not good to call a woman a dog, and I'm not. But the Thorn that I know is Thorn Dog, Lucky Thorn Longsnout. All my dogs are named Lucky Longsnout. Their middle name changes. I have Lucky Lily Longsnout now, but Lucky Thorn Longsnout was her predecessor was half Doberman and half. But anyway, here she is. I'm going to quit comparing her to a dog. Yes, she disappeared, and there was a dog there, and now she has returned.
She's just a bitch.
So my dog that's Lulu. She is half.
Man, she's from Chicago, man. You can't be calling her a bitch. I mean, you can call her whatever you want. I ain't no fucking white knight, but I bet you would call that shit.
Shank me.
Bitches.
I will shank you.
She'll shank me.
Try to scratch your eyeballs out.
In chat, Jenna, I never say that guy's name right. RPR said that it's the same in the UK with single mothers and the benefit system. Exactly what I'm saying. When you incentivize behavior, people are going to do that behavior. If you say, okay, well, for every child you pop out, you get an extra $200 a month. Some fucking people are going to squirt out kids for a living.
And that's what the 97 Labour government. The same Labour government that had completely uncontrolled immigration did that sort of thing, but and also people always make this claim in the UK about how the rich don't pay their fair share of taxes, where there's endless evidence that they do. They're paying far more tax than than the lower income people. So all that is just bollocks, and it might be the same sort of thing in America, but I'm not sure. But it certainly is in the UK, where healthcare is very much always a very prominent thing in the political debates in the UK. So yeah.
I think it actually got so bad in Chicago they put a limit on how many kids you can actually like get benefits for.
That's disgusting.
Oh, we may as well just have a one-child policy now.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. It's exactly the same principle.
I think it's 3 because at that point, Jesus, stop.
Somebody got to take it. You know, I'm going to find that video and in our next break, I'll play it. Somebody needs to pay for my 8 kids.
Oh my God, I need to find, I think it's Judge Mathis. And this lady has like 9 freaking kids. And no, not a single mom. But all these 9 kids is like between 5 men.
Oh, okay.
So she's one of those. And then there's her husband, or no, her boyfriend. She's not even married to him. And yeah, he's just like ripping her a new one. He's like, you've been on welfare your whole life, and you just keep popping out kids. He's like, you are the problem with the black community. He's just ripping her a new.
The next time the dude is kind of help me set this shit up is around, I'm gonna figure it out because I cannot have my mic on and be ready to play the audio. But I just did figure out how to put Chinky Meister there and with me without switching back and forth for screen save. I almost want to lean over and suck my own dick for a minute on that one. Anyway, let's hammer on this shit, folks. We got some smart people here. No, don't be sorry. We actually have some intelligent people here, and 3 of us, myself, and I just realized Thorn now and Lion are apt to go off on a tit. So I'm going to try for Tigerson's sake to keep it on some kind of track. Here we go. I'm silent.
We all decide we're going to do X, but we're not going to do Y. And I think it is fair for society to say that, yes, we are going to do healthcare for everybody. Everybody. We're not going to leave 20 million people uninsured. We're not going to leave 30 million people uninsured. That's not what we do in a civilized society. And from time to time, they attack against Medicare. They say, oh, it's an entitlement. Yeah, we paid for it through payroll taxes our whole lives. You're goddamn right we're entitled to it because we paid for it. We paid for it. And so when you take out the middlemen of the insurance companies that put...
Okay, play that video.
You pay a government who can't...
Yeah, you go ahead, Tiger.
You pay a government which you can't necessarily put your faith in. You shouldn't put your faith in for everything.
Yeah, the same guy that is begrudging Trump's administration is saying, trust the government. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Ogre, can you play that link?
I think.
Go ahead, Tiger.
Look, yeah.
We tried
go
to
to
help
50
them,
go to 50 seconds.
And I think
because it isn't enough.
Somebody needs to pay for all my children and mine and Gary, all our suffering, all our pain. Somebody needs to be held accountable, and they need to pay.
Yes, 15 fucking kids. Yeah, you. Yes.
Can I just say, as
Someone
a woman,
needs to be accountable for I got pregnant with. No, we're not Thorn. We're not doing that. We're not gonna like. See, this is your kind. You both have an X. You both have only X chromosomes. How do you feel?
God, did the last 2 walk out?
The premise is her last boyfriend got arrested, and since he got arrested, somebody got to pay for all my chillins.
Somebody got to pay for all my kids.
Yeah.
Oh no, you didn't.
Now, y'all realize that my kids. Lady has, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 11. It might be 15.
It's 15, bro.
15. So there's 16 with her. And if you watch it through the whole thing, in the beginning, she got cut off her assistance. I've seen that. If she got cut off her assistance, and then the neighborhood came in and helped her and gave her food. And she was all contrite and said, thanks for helping. But then when it came right down to it, and they asked that was her response. And so, look, we already live in the United States. We have lived in a country that for years, nobody was thrown out in the street. If your husband died in 1830, somewhere in Utah, where the Mormons would take you in, it's just been the way it's been across this country since our inception. So this idea that we need the nanny state to swoop in and save us. Cenk Uygur wants the nanny state because he wants to be a part of it. He is their mouthpiece.
Can I just follow? Can I just follow that up quickly? The reason why all these lefties don't like the idea of, you know, a sort of community, a sort of small community help for people like that, whether it comes from, you know, from churches or synagogues or any other just general kind of community groups, local giving help to people, is that involves people actually, individuals having to get off their asses and help other people and, you know, put time into it, rather than just voting for someone who's going to say the state can do all that. You know, they'd rather not get off their asses to help individual people in their local communities, and they just vote for some person who's, you know, going to say, oh, as a government, we'll definitely deal with all the bad stuff. So that, you know, it just, all these people like Bernie Sanders, they just disincentivize people to try and be more helpful on a sort of very local level, you know, in a sort of neighborhood level, because they can, because they're saved by voting for him. In, you know, it's just stupid. Sorry, carry on.
Well, and the problem is it's not just an individual thing. It's not, that lady she's not anomalous, first of all. Second of all, it's not just her attitude that's the problem. All 15 of those little motherfuckers are going to grow up with that attitude, which means now instead of one crazy bitch, we have 16 crazy motherfuckers.
It exponentiates the problem. Yeah,
it does. It's a self-replicating cycle. It's incredibly bad for the country.
It's a
as long as
prophecy.
same difference. But yeah, it's I don't understand how Chunk doesn't see that.
Because it's not nice to say, put things in that perspective. It's not nice to say that this, you know, this poor single mother of 15 kids has at all any sort of accountability to the situation she's in. It's not nice to say that. Cenk could not bring himself to say anything like that.
Do you think he believes what he's saying, though, or do you think he's just pandering?
Well,
how could someone be so stupid?
He originally started out in such a way just to sort of appeal nice, but he's probably believes it now. You know, he's gone so far down this road. So, you know, anyway, let's carry on with the video.
In there, that put their marketing in there, that put their lobbyist money in there. That means more savings for Americans. And so finally, you know, the idea that it can't be done is preposterous, since every other Western developed country does some version of single payer. It obviously can be done, and it is done at lower rates and better.
Shitter.
Yeah, they all suck. There's not a single country that has a sustainable universal healthcare system. Name me one. Germany used to come the closest.
You won't ever get that perfect healthcare. You'll never get perfect socialism. You'll never get perfect communism.
Add something to this question, and you can.
You'll never get a perfect meritocracy. You'll never get a perfect anything. This is utopian thinking, and it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, there's no perfect system. You have to change things up at least a little every once in a while.
Democracy and capitalism never claimed to be not chaotic or, you know, not difficult, because it has.
Well, Chunk doesn't want to accept that a certain percentage of the population will never aspire to anything higher than a burger flipper. He thinks everyone wants to be a CEO, everyone wants to be a millionaire, everyone's going to work hard to be a millionaire if they all just get the same opportunity. Chunk, you're an idiot. They have the opportunity. They choose. Want to work hard. Well, no, of course not.
No, but yeah, it's just fucking, it's just ridiculous.
There's nothing fucking wrong with being a janitor.
No, there's nothing wrong with being a janitor at all.
We need janitors.
But you have to accept that some people are going to be janitors. Therefore, you can't go, let's push everyone to be a fucking CEO. It's not going to happen.
I've worked in places. I worked in this little cafe sort of place after I left school, and I was looking for some work to earn some money. And there was this lady who worked in the cafe. She'd been working in there for 28 years. She was, she was working class, and it was all she's ever really done. And I talked to her about, her life, and she seemed, it may not have been the most fulfilling thing for her to do, but she seemed okay with it. And, she was married and had children and stuff like that. And some people are just like that. Not to say that we shouldn't, be telling people you are going to be like that, or try and predestine people to be like that. But some people are like that, and they're just people. They're interesting people with interesting lives.
Well, and unfortunately, capitalism, as you pointed out just a second ago, it's not designed to provide a system by which everyone gets to succeed. It's not the purpose. Those who want to succeed can succeed. That's the point.
It is trying to aim for a meritocracy. We can never get a perfect one, of course not, but it's aiming for that.
That should be the constant aim with any system. Should be a meritocracy.
Hear, hear.
But then the people who criticize meritocracy are claiming, just always use this straw man that there's this point to all these examples of how things are not a meritocracy, and we're saying, well, yes, we know there's no such thing as a perfect meritocracy. We know that. We can only just try and aim for one.
It's like trying to aim for a society with like no serial killers. It's never going to happen. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try.
But here's the thing.
No, I'm just saying some people are just born wrong.
And when you have a good meritocracy, the problem is that you have a lot of smart people that are in the STEM and making good money, and you have a lot of people that are doing what they should do. And if you've ever read The Bell Curve or any other books like that, it will tell you about how things work in the real world. Well, then all of a sudden it looks like the men are monopolizing MMA. Okay, I mean I'll just use that for an example, and then therefore it's a patriarchy. But when men had most of those jobs, when it was a patriarchy, no, it wasn't. Before women could vote, it was a matriarchy. It always has been. And I know I'm getting a little off topic, so instead of going on my matriarchy spiel and how I hate that it's been destroyed by feminism, feminism has destroyed the matriarchy. It used to be, you walked into a woman's house, you might not know your friend's old lady, and you walk in there and you got your cigarette burning and your hat on. She might come and ask you once nicely to take it off, and when you come back the next time with your hat on, your cigarette burns, she might just knock it off with a broom until you get the fuck out, because it was a matriarchy, and we've gone away from those things.
Ogre, shut up. Obviously, all women were all just chained to the inside of their houses, never to come out. Obviously, that's the case.
Touche.
It's natural for fourth place.
Never had any sort of power over men. No, men are never respected women. They never ever did anything nice for women. Obviously, women were all just chained and were cattle, and obviously, and they all were workers. You're wrong.
Chink represents fourth place, and what I mean by that is fourth place naturally will complain that they didn't get a medal, but as soon as you give fourth place a medal, now fifth place will complain they didn't get a medal. So you have to give fifth place a medal, and then sixth place will complain that they didn't get a medal. Before you know it, everybody gets a medal, which means first place means nothing. And that's the problem. When first place means nothing, why bother? Why even try? I'll sit at home and get my medal.
Everything is the same.
Nope.
Carry on with the video.
Respond a bit if you want to, but Cenk referenced Paul Ryan. When the Republicans took control of Congress, Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the House, famously said, we need to switch from being an opposition party to being a proposition party. So what's your evaluation, Ben, of their efforts in that direction to unite the party and move legislation forward?
I mean, we all have eyes. They suck at it. I mean, and Paul Ryan is not exactly my go-to guy when it comes to political acumen and genius. So I'd more want to respond to some of the contentions that Cenk was making about Medicare for all and single-payer healthcare. A couple of things. One, when you say we pay for it, that's not technically true. The idea that everybody who's paying into Medicaid paid for it and now they get out what they paid in is obviously not true. It is a distributive program, and to pretend otherwise is just silly. The people who are paying the payroll taxes are not the people who are taking out through Medicaid, obviously.
Can I just address that super quick? So if we're talking about Medicare, right? Not Medicaid.
Right.
So in Medicare,
Jesus.
so you're both correct and incorrect. So it's not like I put in $20 and I get $20 back. That part is true.
Right.
But we all pay into Medicare together, and then we all get it when we get.
No, we don't.
Sure. Two questions, really.
No, we don't all pay into it.
Questions.
That's
One?
the fucking point. No, we don't all pay into it. That's the point. That's why it's an insolvent system. That's why it's not self-sustaining. You have less people paying in than those taking out. I'm not a genius. I'm not a mathematician. But somehow I think that if you have less going in than you have coming out, that's not a zero sum. I don't know. Is that negative? I don't know.
Two questions, really, serious questions. One, what is your ideal tax rate? Because it's going to cost a lot of money for a lot of this stuff. And two, what is your ideal level of medical care? Because the fact is that we can spend millions of dollars on people at end of life care. We can spend millions of dollars on surgeries and preventative care. I mean, healthcare is an expensive business, even under a single payer system, which is why generally you end up with rationing. So what is your ideal level of healthcare that is provided to everyone, and what sort of tax rate are you proposing to subsidize that?
Yeah, so those are very, very fair questions. So let's talk about taxes.
That he won't answer.
So conservatives agree or say all the time that the golden era of America was the 1950s and 1960s. Well, there's a lot of truth to that. Our economy was booming at the time, and we became the #1 economy in the world at that time. The tax rate for the highest bracket fluctuated between 70 and 91%.
Do you know why the 1950s and 1960s were America's golden age in terms of being world economic power? It's because everybody knew their fucking role. Everybody accepted the fact that everyone had a place in the society, and they took their fucking place. I'm not saying that you have to force someone into a place. You can aspire to anything, but be realistic about what it is you want to do. If the dude is going out and working, the wife should be, or the woman or whatever, they don't have to be married, should be taking care of the household. It should be a split team effort. If the woman is going out and working, the man should stay home and take, or whatever, if it's a gay couple who gives a shit. Somebody needs to be taking care of domestic. Somebody needs to be taking care of paying the fucking bills.
Psychology has been trying through a minority of people for the past 40 years very actively to try to disprove the psychological and sociological fact that the best way to ensure success for the next generation is for that generation to be brought up in a household where there's a mother and a father.
That is the sad truth, and it is, you know, I would be very disinclined to sort of say how I'm not in favor of, you know, gay parenting, but it is that, you know, gay people themselves will themselves not necessarily understand how they benefited from growing up in a with a mother and a father, if they did, you know. But
well, we can leave that off and just say this: the #1 determining factor for poverty is a single parent home. #1 is a single mother. #2 is a single father. So you can leave off even that. The #1 determining factor for crime, imprisonment, poverty, all of these things come back to
#3 is an incarcerated parent.
That's right. That's how bad it is. That is how bad it is. To get worse is you have an incarcerated parent.
But in the 70s, all this stuff came along, like Jermaine Greer and
I was just going to talk about that.
Saying how the nuclear family has failed, whereas it's not failed. It's just, you know.
Yeah. Do you think Chunk is going to bring up why or what happened in the late 60s that negatively impacted America's position economically and how it ended the golden age? Let's see. What happened?
Those people who advocated that all sexual behavior was completely and utterly socially constructed. You know, there was no evolutionary inclination for people to be monogamous, or, you know, that's all just a social construct. All sexual encounters are completely subjective, and everyone should just have a massive fucking orgy. Yeah, that's what came in the 70s and the late 60s.
Yep, 69. Free love and the idea that have you heard the phrase "women can have it all"? That phrase was probably the most destructive thing.
I think I would argue that the most destructive phrase was "the personal is political." That came in more in the 70s. That was more second wave type stuff. But that was incredibly destructive.
Well, and I think the idea that women can have it all really put this false idea that you can be a CEO and a soccer mom. And so it created this false expectation. And when folks went out and tried and got crushed, because look at all the great CEOs, the really rich men. The really rich men in the world have shit home lives because you can't have it all. You have to sacrifice something.
And the only female CEOs have no kids and are usually not married.
Yeah,
What? Say that again?
Oh, the very few female CEOs don't have kids and are usually not married.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't have it all.
No, you cannot.
Well, the fact that there's a phrase "women can have it all" makes the assumption that there was a claim that men could have it all. No, men knew they can't. No, they can't have it all. They just work. Men always know that they just try and work for what they want. And not every man wants to be a CEO. Some men just want to have a kind of low key job and have enough to live off. And some do want to be a CEO, but. You know, men never had this mentality that they could have it all, and it's just fucking stupid. Yeah.
So that is when we were at our best. Now, I want to be clear. I'm also a businessman, and boy, that seems high. It does, okay? And one of the reasons my family were Republicans when I was growing up was because before Reagan came in, the highest marginal tax rate was 70%. So now we are nowhere near that. We have reduced taxes to bare bones, and we have shifted the taxes onto the middle class and away from the rich and corporations.
What the?
So there is a much better balance to be had. And if you said to me, well, you're going to have $800 in taxes that are new, I say, wow, that hurts. But you're going to save $1,000 in premiums. Deal. That is a deal I will take every time because I can do math.
Okay.
So
okay, boss.
That is
Chunk, you are so full of shit. The highest tax bracket is 39.6%. That's federal taxes. That's anyone that makes over $413,000. That's only federal. You figure state usually is pretty close to the federal. So let's just assume for the sake of argument it's half of that. So let's say that you get an additional 20% added for state. You're at 60% of your income if you make over $400,000. So you're telling me the government has a right to take half my fucking income because I happen to make more than the fucking burger flipper. How is that not?
No, hang on, slow down. He's not saying that. He said 60%. That's more than half.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking exactly. That's my point.
With 40%. And if you think about that, so now you make 200 grand, it takes 60%. That means that they take 120,000, leaving you with 80,000. It would behoove you to make 130,000. I mean, that disincentivizes being, you know, if you want to get astronomical on taxes, which I think is 30%, well, save that for the corporation, for the individuals and corporations that make hundreds of millions. Don't call a rich person somebody makes 200,000 unless you've made 200,000, because that's not a lot of money, folks. I hate to break it to y'all, but your things go up. You buy a different car, you buy a different house. At the end of the week, you don't make no more fucking money than somebody that's making 50 grand and living with it. It's, believe me, it's all relative until you get up in millions.
Yeah, and here's what's interesting is the tax rate. Oh, geez, what's that?
Echo.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute you real quick, but I'm kind of loud. Anyway, I'm gonna say this real quick, then I'll unmute you. Over. The 33% tax bracket is from 189,000 to 411,000. The 35% bracket is from 411,000 to 413,000. So there's a $2,000. That 35% bracket is only a $2,000 bracket. So if I'm making 415,000 and getting hit with a 40% tax rate, why wouldn't I find a way to decrease my income by $3,000 and get into that 35%? Or then decrease it by another 2,000 and get to 33. That's the problem with this regressive fucking tax structure. And Chunk is actually making a valid point, shock of shocks, that the tax brackets are structured so that by decreasing your own income, you can decrease dramatically the amount you're paying in taxes. That is a regressive tax. That is not a good tax structure. That's all I have.
Japan is doing so well, keeping costs down to half of ours and less. We might actually learn something from Japan, Switzerland, and other countries. And by the way, when we say Medicare for all, Medicare Advantage exists. So you can actually add private insurance on top of that. And I find that perfectly great. I have no problems with that at all. So that is the government making sure you don't die and actually lowering rates for you. And then if you want more insurance, no problem.
So all this sounds great, except for the fact that Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security eat up 66% of the federal budget every single year. The idea that all of these socialized medicine countries have it so much better than we do, particularly in terms of cancer care, is a joke. We are still #1 in terms of 5-year cancer survival rate here in the United States. And when you talk about top marginal tax rates in the 1950s, there are a couple things that are worth noting. One, that was top individual marginal tax rates, not necessarily the business tax rate. We now have some of the highest corporate tax rates altogether in the industrialized world. And if you would prefer for us to destroy half of the world before we become the only country that didn't have its industrial capacity destroyed, which is what happened in the 1940s, leading to us being the only productive country on planet Earth, essentially, for the next 2 decades, I'm not with you there. I'm not really in favor of having a giant world war that destroys all industrial capacity across the West, so we're the only people who actually have the capacity to produce anything and just markets that we can provide to.
Right. So first of all, it is fair to say that, of course, the 1950s and 60s were different. We had just come out of the war. So, but you have to consider all the different factors. So one was that factor, and the other factor that was the one I mentioned. So when Republicans or conservatives say, well, high taxes by definition will lead to slower growth, well, we know because of our experience in the 1950s and 60s that isn't true. Now, you can say there are other factors, but you can't say that the highest marginal...
I had to stop it there just because you noticed that Ben just very, very, very eloquently and artfully explained why. Because the 50s, there was actually a recession. They call it the Little Depression, and it wasn't the greatest of times for this country. I'd hate to break anybody's bubble. That's just a fact. But the reason we were riding that wave anyway is because our industry was fired up. Rosie the Riveter was running shit while the boys were over kicking ass and taking names and leaving dead bodies all across Europe and the Pacific Islands. And when that was done, the boys that were alive came back and they went to work, and everybody, we blew them to fucking hell and gone. If I'm not mistaken, Hiroshima was gone. I mean, right? It was gone. Nagasaki was sayonara. And anyway, and then we controlled their governments. We controlled a lot. And so Britain, the United States, both did very well. Right now, we're not doing so well because of whatever reasons. I couldn't know. I've got my own ideas. But did you see what happened? As soon as he explained why that was, right away, Chang said, well, we can see that the taxes were up to 91%. It was our biggest growth. No, Chink, it wasn't because of that. Anyway, correlation doesn't show causation. Or in Michigan, you know, when ice cream sales go up, the number of drownings increases 90, 100%, a lot. And of course, it's because summertime, people swim and eat ice cream. It's not because ice cream makes you fucking drown.
Yes, ban ice cream. Someone in chat, FM Moore was asking how you can provide, let's see, it said, what about disabilities? I agree in general, populace, but there should be help for people with disabilities. And to which I replied that those who are incapable of working obviously should not be expected to. We have to take care of our weakest citizens. So he said, how do you carry that out? Now, here's where my world traveling comes in. In Thailand, the government owns the lottery. There is no state lottery. It's a federal lottery. If you want to buy a lottery ticket, you have to buy it from a street vendor who is a handicapped person. The only people allowed to sell lottery tickets in Thailand are handicapped people. You see them in wheelchairs everywhere. You see someone in a wheelchair, they've got a little lottery thing usually in their lap, and they'll sell you a lottery ticket. So these are people.
That's bad to the bone right there. That is.
Isn't that cool?
That is.
Yeah, some of the things about the East are really awesome that we should really adopt some of their practices, and that's one of them. Their disabled people are able to provide a life for themselves, and they aren't sucking off a system that able-bodied people are paying into, and it gives them autonomy. It makes them able to live their own fucking lives. Go ahead, Thorne. I see you want to say something.
Yes, here in Chicago, the Chicago Tribune has if you go to Chicago, you go to like the train stations and everything. Sometimes there is a homeless person outside, and they'll be trying to sell you something called Streetwise. Please buy that, by the way, whether you need it or not.
Oh, they have that in Portland.
Yeah, it's a company. It's a business run by Chicago Tribune in order to give people who are homeless with mental or physical disabilities an income.
Yeah, I bought it when I was in Portland.
I bought one of those at King's Pizzas downtown off a homeless vet. I know what you're talking about too. They're all over Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're in Oregon.
The SJWs were complaining that it was demeaning to make them stand outside and hawk stuff. I'm just like, wait, no, what? That's retarded.
If you have a job, you're going to get people asking just for money in Chicago. So it's better that they have something there. It's less demeaning than having to go up and say, hey man, you got $5. Because
panhandling is not a job.
Straight ahead when I'm in Chi-Town, man. When I'm walking around downtown, I like to look nice, and so I don't know. I just look straight ahead. But if somebody has a service to offer, or there is the occasional time where I will see somebody and it's like, fuck, man. I mean, the times that I've given people money in any city I've been in, it's not because I was asked. Even though that's happened a couple times, but it's been because I've looked and been like, wow, that human being needs this 50 more than I do. And you know, anyway,
I give money to buskers because you're doing something for it.
Me too.
Oh
there
my
you
God.
go.
There's a woman that plays the violin at Chicago and State, and she's like one of the best violinists I've ever heard. She's amazing. I always give her something.
give buskers money if they're actually playing something good. But
they have talent.
Well, no, I say that that's harsh. But in where I'm in a kind of quite a sort of middle class area, and as you probably guessed from my voice, and most of the buskers we get are just people singing covers of current top 40 hits over a terrible backing track. These stupid, whiny.
They're not even playing a guitar or anything. Like no.
Sometimes you get people who. Like you get people playing the violin or proper kind of blues bands. You get some really good stuff sometimes.
I've never been a busker, but a couple times. Once, in fact, I mean, in 2 different cities, in Louisville and in Nashville. I just thought one time, what happened was I went to Nashville and was checking it out. Was on the street where they play all the music. There's buskers all out there. Most of them suck. That's why they're not in the clubs, because it's the live music capital of the world. There's live music playing at 7 o'clock in the freaking morning till probably. I don't know, 3 o'clock.
These little clubs that I went to in Nashville and Memphis, where they had music playing, some of the best evenings of my life.
I spent 2 days doing it. So I opened up my case in both of those cities, and it was two of the best days of my life. And in Nashville, it wasn't all that great because there was a lot of people doing it. I think I made like $80, but in Louisville in one day I made $350. Just sitting there playing music for about 7 hours.
I used to do the human statue thing when I lived in Miami Beach.
Man, if you're good at that, they always get my dollar, girl. That's cool. If I see somebody solid doing a statue where they ain't fucking blinking like for 3 minutes, they get offended, man.
Sure. So you want to let me jump in real quick. You want to talk about earning your money? So it's 1:30 a.m. My wife comes in here 1:30 a.m. mind you, hands me a bowl of noodles. I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I thought you might get hungry." And then I'm like, well, what's wrong? She's like, I'm really tired. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing up? It's 1:30 in the morning. So she shuffled on back to bed. She went to bed at 10:30. I guess she got up and decided I was going to get hungry, and so she brought me a bowl of noodles. That girl earns her fucking money, I'll tell you.
You can't get nothing beats a good woman. That's
relationship goals.
My old lady earns her money too. She's out doing it right now. She's a respiratory therapist.
Nice. You say nothing beats a good woman? I disagree. I beat a good woman. Anyway, let's go.
Straight Sith Mail was saying there's a guy in San Francisco that sells jokes for $0.25. I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's fair.
Oh, speaking of which, how much is the homeless newspaper in Chicago? What does it cost?
I think it's still $1.
Yeah, in Oregon it was $1 and a guy he was like, hey, he hit me up for it and was showing me it, and I was doing the typical, you're trying to sell me shit, I don't want it. But when he was like, yeah, it's a newspaper that helps homeless folks, I stopped and I was like, whoa, what? Wait a minute, you mean you're actually doing a job? And so I offered him a $5 bill. I said, all right, I'll take one, but here, take my $5. And he was like, no, they're $1. And I said, well, I know, I want to give you $4. He goes, no,
he doesn't want.
I don't want your charity. I want to do my job. I'll sell you one for $1. And I said, okay, you are a fucking awesome guy. And I gave him $1. And I bought one and just threw it away. I didn't even read it, but.
Yeah, I'm just like, even if you have no intention of reading it, just buy one anyway.
Yes.
Tax rate being 70 or even 90% slows down growth because it didn't. And it wasn't in Japan and Switzerland. It was right here. And by the way, as a guy who grew up Republican, I was surprised by that too. I was surprised.
Do you not remember the 70s? Yes, it did slow down growth. The 70s were fucking terrible for America. Anyway, continue.
No, I don't remember the 70s. I didn't exist.
System of non-competition in schools work, but it does. So we have to be open to facts and understand. So and on the issue of where we're good and not good in
we have to be open to facts.
There are different areas where we excel. But Ben, honestly, you're cherry picking there.
No, what Cenk means is you have to be open to facts and then accept them blindly.
Or you have to be open to facts that I invent.
Sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted it like that, but
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That was so rich.
I know. Go ahead.
We're good. Overall, we're number 37. That is not a good result.
Well, you have
so
to break
if we're not dying from cancer, we're dying from other things. It's empirical. We are not as healthy. And finally,
says the buffalo.
I know, right? The morbidly obese man is talking about how unhealthy America is.
Well, it's beyond that. The people that are so into, anti-fat shaming, body positivity, body forward movement, healthy at any size. The number one killer that I know of right now is eating, because obesity overtook smoking and alcohol as #1 preventable cause of death. And it's cardiovascular and respiratory usually, and they die of diabetes, get their legs cut off and whatnot. And yeah, they're a bunch of fatties, man, and they don't want to address that. Oh, he wouldn't dare say that. But when it comes to like we're not healthy, daggone. Just trying to be reasonable here.
It all comes from refined.
No, I'm trying to have a reasonable conversation with you, Tigerson.
Reasonable discussion. Come and get your bacon grease. No, yeah, it comes from, because in the 60s and the 70s, you see people in England, they were all eating loads of fish and chips, which is, deep fried and all that, and they weren't fat. And it wasn't until, mass production of stuff containing refined carbohydrates and refined sugar, that's when everyone started getting fat. So stuff like when you eat stuff like bread and things with refined sugar in them, like chocolate, without exercise, so it's the combination of that, then that's where that comes from.
We should actually do a stream on that, because that's actually not scientifically accurate, but that's a whole other conversation that we can have later on.
Because it's also that combined with a growing stagnant kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a lot to do with exercise as well. We barely get any exercise.
And finally, this idea that corporations are paying the highest tax rate is both, again, true and untrue. The part that it's true is, hey, there's a rate of 35%. The part that's not true is they don't actually pay that. There is giant loopholes. And they've got $2 trillion sitting offshore, and they won't bring it in. And the reality is that if you look at the taxes from the 1950s, corporations used to pay about 1/3 of our taxes, about 33% of the taxes overall. So they did their fair share, and that is fair. I don't want them paying all of it, but I want them paying a reasonable amount. Now, the share that corporations pay of taxes is down to 10%. You see what they did there? They did wealth.
This whole idea of corporations paying their fair share is so stupid, because we have a federal income tax. The people who run the corporations are already being taxed, as well as the people who the corporation is paying, as well as the people to whom the corporation is buying supplies from, because that's an income. We're double and triple taxing when we introduce corporation taxes. And not that I'm against
they have federal taxes on all the most expensive stuff. You have excise tax for anything that they consider luxury. They tax alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Anybody sound familiar? The ATF. They tax those things to the max. They tax ammunition. There's a federal tax on gasoline. There's federal taxes everywhere. So if you have a corporation, 10% that he's talking about on your corporate growth, that only hurts your stockholders. As Lion just said, the CEO just got paid, and he paid income tax on that. But you also have corporations that are out there buying fuel for their trucks to move their product, buying all these things that are already federally taxed. The amount of taxes that a corporation brings into our country, you could just tell them to keep the 10%. That's why they do it often. They give them these tax holidays. You could just tell them to keep that 10% on their corporate gains, because they're gonna get so many up. They're gonna make us so much money. Anyway, Bloom, there it is.
And why is it the companies?
He means to pretend to be ignorant in these things and pretend that these aren't facts. He really does.
Yeah, he's talking about 90% tax rates. Now, why is it corporations have fled America again? You may go.
Redistribution. They took your wealth and redistributed to them.
Okay. Ben, I'll let you respond to that.
Yeah, one more quick point, and then I'll be done with this, because we can do healthcare for 8 hours here. But two things. One, I'd like to know which tax deduction, when people say tax loopholes, a tax loophole is just a tax deduction that's available to everyone, and some people take advantage of it and some people don't. I can't take advantage of certain corporate tax deductions because my business isn't in those businesses, for example. I'm sort of with you in the sense that I'm not in favor of tax deductions. I'm in favor of a lower tax rate and get rid of a lot of the tax deductions, because I think that it's ridiculous that we have people gaming the system. That said, I'd like to know which tax deductions you'd like to do away with. And I'd like to know also, when you say that corporations pay 10% of the taxes, right, and individuals pay the other 90%, okay, so that means the taxes are still getting paid to a higher rate than we ever have in our history in terms of the tax revenue to the government. The amount of tax revenue to the government right now is trillions of dollars every year. And final point here.
This is why Ben Shapiro is so good. he always goes to asking for specifics. And this is a lesson for those of you watching. Always ask for specifics. Don't rely on generalized platitudes that come up so often in debates. Chunk is a generalist. Shapiro is a specialist or specificist.
Well, everyone has to generalize to an extent, but yes, Cenk is just being ridiculous with it.
FM Moore asked a question. Fair point, but isn't that a form of socialism or an insurance type deal?
What are we referring to?
Well, I think he's talking about the idea of universal health care. I'm not quite sure. Fair point, but whose point? Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, okay. If that's the point, the idea, I hate that argument because having one system that could be said to be a socialist system does not, in and of itself, make a country socialist. I don't know. Providing for your people, sure, yeah, that's socialist. I don't have a problem with it.
It could also be theocratic if you look at it that way. Providing for your people.
If Shapiro had his way.
Well, I'm just saying it could be a lot of different systems of government, not just socialism. That's just one tiny aspect.
True. I think he was just having an argument with someone in the chat. Not
okay,
one of us.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, he said afterwards. He said at RPR, and that's a guy.
Oh,
shout out to RPR.
My bad. Sorry, RPR.
Sorry.
Sorry,
The amount of tax revenue of the government right now is trillions of dollars every year. And final point here. You elided this question by saying we can learn stuff from Japan. The standard of care is the entire question when it comes to single-payer health care. That is the entire thing. If people felt like they were going to get the same access to care in a single-payer healthcare system as they did in a system where they can pay their own way, then we would have no controversy here. But the fact is that rationing is mandated as soon as you start having the government run the healthcare system.
And what's the problem with both? Why can't poor people get shit government healthcare and rich people get good private healthcare? What's wrong with that?
Yeah. Yeah. Why can't there? Yeah, that's actually a decent point. Why can't you get the bare minimum that keeps you alive, and then rich people, if they want to pay for extra shit, they can pay for extra shit.
Yeah, just like cars. Poor people drive Pintos, rich people don't.
Decide what level of care people get. So I don't want anyone deciding what level of care that I can get. I don't want anyone else to. They don't care about me. They don't know my child's name. They don't know my name. All they know is how much I cost. I mean, Ezekiel Emanuel is at least honest about this. Ezekiel Emanuel comes out and says, listen, I want to die at 70, right? I want to die at 80. That's fine with me. I'd rather die at that. Well, that's good for him. But if I don't want to die at 80, or I don't want my father to die at 80, it's none of his damn business.
Yeah, Ben. Flex that yarmulke.
So when you say tax revenue is at its highest point, now you know that that's misleading because everything economically is at its highest point, meaning that we have a lot more people in the country than we did in the 1950s and 60s, so hence we are collecting more overall taxes. But the reality is, as a percentage, it is clearly down. The top bracket now is around 39%. It used to be at 91%. That's inarguable, right?
But our economy is significantly larger than it was then, and part of that is because of reductions in taxes over previous decades.
Well, we tried supply side economics. Hey, Kansas, how's that working out for you? So there's this myth that
it's working out for you. Your business is doing great.
Okay, yeah. Well, we just had 8 years of Obama.
Someone call Bernie Ward.
Did y'all catch his response to that? He was like, yeah, we just had 8 years of Obama.
That was so weak.
Well, and it was the worst 8 years for business in quite a while. It was a rough one. I mean, if you juxtapose it right to, 2008, it was the end for a lot of people. For me, I sold the business I had. I don't want to say I seen it coming because it was already there, but some people were still being optimistic. So I had a buyer for a business that I had at the time, and so I sold it and got the hell out of Orlando, Florida, like it was on fire. Houses tumbled, man. I mean, everything that we got rid of our place, everything, man. If we wouldn't have done it when we did, it would have hurt. But anyway, I just thought it was funny. That's how he wound it up, because Ben shot the little jab at it. He was like, well, your business is doing good. He's like, I'll talk to Kansas and whatever. The economy fluctuates, goes up and down. But I've noticed a stark lack of comments from Cenk Uygur about how well business is doing at the moment. And how when things happen, it does make Trump look bad, and it looks like, you know, the rhetoric is ramped up, and they're going to impeach him tomorrow. That hurts the stock market, because so far he's been really good for our economy. So anyway, but that won't be addressed by this person.
He's certainly widened the private sector, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
widened the private sector,
regardless of other stuff. Yeah, but yeah, he has. Sorry, carry on with the debate.
So the tax rate is clearly lower for the richest people in the country. It is clearly lower for corporations. In effect. It is, and so to say that it's a record collection is misleading. So in terms of the healthcare and how that relates to the government, oh, by the way, on one more thing on taxes, you said, name me a tax loophole. So yes, there are plenty of those. For example, they hide their money offshore. They do tricks like the double Dutch and the Irish sandwich or the reverse. And I would end that. I would say, hey, you know what? If we've got a 35% rate, here's the new rule. You're going to pay 35%, okay? And you're not allowed to hide your money. I don't care if it's in the Cayman Islands. We're going to make that illegal, Mitt Romney. We're going to make it illegal. Okay?
Bye-bye, American companies.
And so then every once in a while they do a tax holiday. Well, that must be nice. Remember when you got a...
I say that non-ironically, because it's the same idea as the minimum wage. He's talking, again, in platitudes. He's talking, well, we're going to make it illegal to hide your money, but you're not going to make it illegal to move your company out of America, are you? Because if you simply raise their taxes, they're going to leave. You fucking moron.
Yes. Either you try and up all the regulations to forcefully prevent people from doing that, or you disincentivize people to do that by just being more friendly to businesses. You know, it's just stupid.
Yeah, stop trying to force businesses to do things. Instead, incentivize them to do things. You want good fucking health insurance? Incentivize a business. If you provide 100% insurance coverage to your employees, you are now in a 20% tax bracket automatically. Instead of the 35% that you ordinarily would do. Boom, universal health care. Game match set.
A tax holiday? I don't remember getting a tax holiday. No, that's only for corporations who bribe politicians.
I like his
So
hat,
they
though.
brought that rate down from 35% to 5%. And they said they were going to create more jobs. Color me surprised when it turns out they didn't. They offshore taxes. They took that 30% extra, put it in their pocket, gave it to their executives, and created no new jobs. Because that's how it works if you just trust corporations to do the right thing. Corporations are not evil. They just want to maximize profit. That is what they're built for. So please don't be naive and be like, no, but the corporations will look out for our interest. No, they look out for their bottom line.
No,
and finally, just last quick thing,
look out
Medicare Advantage. You keep saying rationing healthcare, but Medicare gives you the bare minimum, and people seem to be very, very happy about it given how well it polls. But you can do Medicare Advantage and get more. I want you to be able to do that. If you're incredibly rich and you want every kind of treatment, I don't want to deny that to you. Get Medicare Advantage.
Yes. Ben, let me just ask, and you can respond to that too.
Yeah, corporations aren't evil. Why would you be so naive to think that corporations have your interest at heart? But yeah, the government definitely has your interest at heart.
Oh my God. Nobody has your interest at heart but you.
Throughout the course of your life to pay for all of the Medicare that you are talking about, you don't have enough money to pay for Medicare Advantage in many cases. And as far as this idea that, you know, corporations they don't have any of your interests at heart. You are a corporation. TYT's it's a corporation. You have 80 employees. I assume that you're not just a greedy asshole and that you actually would like to help your employees from time to time. And you just talked about how under Obama, everything got better with your business. Well, under Obama, he didn't radically escalate taxes. Okay, there was not a radical escalation of taxes under President Obama. And finally, when you seem to be identifying a higher tax rate in the 1950s with higher level of growth. So if that's the case, why not just tax everybody at 100% and we can have massive growth from here to eternity?
Man, he hit him hard, didn't he, folks? I mean, I'll play this whatever y'all say go. I'm trying to be the good host, and I haven't been so good today. I've been rambling a lot. Sorry about getting on my podium. But man, he just hit him. He was like, well, you said that the corporation doesn't have anybody, don't give a shit. They're just big evil. And you, Trink, are a corporation. I assume you're not just a greedy asshole. He's the master. Ben Shapiro.
He is the master.
I love him, man. Just proves that us Jews do everything better than all y'all. It's not really supremacism. It's just factual, man. It's just the way it is. Sorry. We were the funniest people, i.e. Mel Brooks, best songwriters. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on. Best debaters in the world. As a Jewish boy with a yarmulke on the stage there. Love you, Ben. So.
Yeah, and Jews have a natural pine scent when burning.
I knew it was coming. Yes.
No, okay. All dark
Is the
jokes
fire
aside.
green too?
Yeah, I do want to say that Ben Shapiro is single-handedly proving, or disproving rather, the statement that Hitler did nothing wrong. Disproving, i.e., Jews are good.
Because let me just ask, since we're talking about taxes, do you think we'll see tax reform in the next few months here?
Okay, so let me try to address all that in your question as well. So just real quick, look, guys, I said it however many questions ago. Of course, you have to find the right balance on all of these issues, including taxes. So I never said there's no end to how much you can.
I'm just asking why, though.
Yeah. So this leads to wait a minute. This leads to big government versus small government. You're asking me what the ideal tax rate is, and then you did a straw man there.
Holy shit, I'm sorry. I just seen this, and I didn't realize that who FM Moore is, but now I know who they are. Scaramucci. I got to screen share this, folks.
Oh, okay.
Scaramucci is out.
What?
Scaramucci is out, folks. And look, I'm not going to say he shouldn't be, but look, he got drunk. And if he wasn't drunk, he just got stupid and got a hold of that reporter and just started running his mouth, man. And yes, he's tough. I just wish he hadn't have done that. And so Scaramucci out as Trump media chief. This is from BBC News, so I'm going to say that's about as reliable on this kind of thing as you can get. It says White House communications chief Anthony Scaramucci removed from post after 10 days, U.S. media report. And that's it. That's all they got on it. So he lasted 10 days. Nah. Hey, take your olive oil, pack your olive oil up and get good.
Who wants to no, Ryan, hang on. Who wants to find to take like bets on how long the next one's gonna last at this point?
Not me, I don't know. Man, he's going through. You're fired. This is you're fired.
Guys,
oh my god.
Can I just say
Go ahead,
I've got to head off now, actually.
All right, Ty. But man,
thanks for having me on. Thanks for this kind of spontaneous thing. It's cool.
Oh, probably would have let everybody wrap it up here in another 10 or 15 minutes anyway, but that's good, Tiggy. We'll get your last word on this some other time.
Good.
Yeah, it's actually not a bad idea.
Thank you. I'll see you around.
Yeah, take care, Tiger. Nice talking to you, buddy.
Bye. Thank you.
Scaramucci, dude, this is not good. This is really, 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 really bad for a couple of reasons. Number one, Trump firing him 10 days after he got the job is just proving the fucking leftist right that he's an incompetent leader who can't handle his crew. Oh, this is so bad. And Scaramucci gets fired for rattling off and saying these people are bullshit, these people are dishonest. I'm going to come after you. I thought we were draining the swamp, Donnie. I thought we wanted to go after these people.
I'm getting a lot of Schadenfreude right now.
Yeah.
I told y'all.
You know what sucks? I hate being wrong. And as more of this kind of shit happens, I'm really beginning to think I was wrong. But what was the alternative? Hillary? Come on.
That's the thing.
This makes me want to vote for him again. I mean, he was right with the drain the swamp, but he would bring a drag personal, and it's who he called. He was talking to a reporter. The big thing is leaks right now, man. You know, he's out there talking to a reporter. He shouldn't be talking. If I would have been him, the first thing I'd have done was start talking more shit, which was hard with him as it would be for me. That'd be a lot of shit to talk. But it would be on Twitter. It'd be in front of the cameras. It'd be to the media. It wouldn't be, and I mean in public. It wouldn't be getting a hold of somebody and doing that late at night, man. And I think that's why I got fired. And look, it's going to be difficult because what do you got? You got establishment people that have all their ins and outs, and you deal with them, i.e. Rents Priebus, or you got to go through. You got to weed out the weaklings. It took him 10 days to weed this weakling out.
Tiny correction. The chief of staff fired him, not Trump.
Yeah, I just noticed that, and actually, that's interesting because the chief of staff, General Kelly, just was sworn in. It's a brand new chief of staff, so it could be that he's cleaning house, you know, kind of picking up the pieces, and that may that makes me feel better then. Well, but then again, Trump would have had to be okay with it. It's tough. It's tough.
He'd have to be okay with it, but you got to understand, before this guy was in charge of Homeland Security, I'm trying national security, and so he had a great job. He had a chief of staff, and so now he's taking this job. I'm sure before he did, he sat down with the Don and was like, "Look, you might be president, might be Donald Trump, whatnot, but you ain't God. Matter of fact, you ain't really shit to me outside the president. I'd like to serve you. So if you want me to serve you, I'm going to do that, but I don't expect a lot of. You put me here for a reason."
Right.
And so I'm sure that came up because it seems like you're right. He just got sworn in. This is like the first damn thing he did. Dude, man, was talking about cleaning house. He got swept up with the trash.
Yeah, which is actually pretty funny. That life comes at you fast.
It's hilarious, boy. And
Well,
he's a
and
millionaire. He's good. He's gonna make it.
Yeah, he'll be fine. It's another one of those instances where it really comes to, it could go both ways. Either Trump is again playing 4D chess, or he just stepped on his dick again. Because if he's playing the 4D chess, what I mean by that is if he is deferring to Kelly and saying, "Look, you're my chief of staff. Handle my fucking staff. I'm gonna go over here and invade Russia." You know what I mean? Like he's not deferring, but he's what's the word? Not defer. Help me out here. Not deferring.
Delegating.
Thank you. He's delegating. Yes.
You were trying to say deferring to his expertise, which also
yes. Thank you. Yeah, my brain was getting mixed up, but yeah, exactly right.
Well, you know, and I'm going to get out of here too, folks. The white YouTuber is going to be on tonight. I can't say it enough. There's some more people here right now than there was before. Plus, it could be a whole different group of people than were here when I said it earlier, Lion. So, I'm not just trying to toot my own horn, but the white YouTuber. If you haven't heard of him, go check him out. He's collaborated with the Finer Print. I see he's in the side chat here now. He says it's a shameless plug. So, yeah, go check that out, whatever it is he put up. I'm sure it's good. He's going to be on with us, too. We're going to have Tigerson. Amanda Wolfchild is out from the dentist. She may show up. She may not. Depends upon if she can speak. And Day is dead. Again, if you know Day, swing by and tell her you hope she feels good. She struggles with lupus, and it's been a bad, hot summer, I believe, where she's at. It's really hot right now. I don't think that helps her much. So Day one, but that's my way of saying Day won't be with us in the show, but she'll be with us in spirit. She might even swing by and shit post like she usually does. So come on by, man. The white YouTuber, we got a good thing lined up. So that said, if y'all have some final parting words on anything we talked about, take as long as you want. We got a good 10 minutes. If you can jabber for 5 minutes, not lying. I'm sure he can. He can do it for fucking. He can get on here for 2 hours, guaranteed, no problem.
You're damn right.
So that we'll put a little bow on anything you want to mention, Thorne, and we'll start with you. Go line, and I'll wrap it up.
Well, my whole thing with Cenk Uygur, the reason I don't like him is because basically he just kind of repeats talking points and doesn't actually have any ability to debate anything. You can kind of tell by his reaction to things that he was shocked that he was actually getting pushback. I think he honestly thought that he was just going to roll this dude over, and it was really fun to watch.
Yeah, Shapiro definitely was getting the applause lines.
Yeah, he was getting all the applause lines. You could just hear the crowd go like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be. Oh, right, I'm supposed to be cheering for this dude. Oh, fuck." I don't have a whole lot to say on that. You guys covered it better than me. I'm not an economics person. That's part of my issue. But
yeah, but it's just typical Cenk.
It is.
I think Cenk. Go ahead.
Cenk makes all of his money off of moral outrage. He's one of those. Yeah. Like he doesn't even realize that if they ever actually passed universal health care, he's out of a job.
Yeah, no shit. And it's so disingenuous too, because he's one of those people that has no interest. He's intellectually dishonest. He has no interest in refining his points or ensuring that his position is the correct position. He has a position. He thinks it's right. Facts, figures, statistics, reality be damned. And you can't respect someone like that.
No, at all. And I have a special hate boner for people that just kind of sow moral outrageous money, like the Anita Sarkeesians, the Cenk Uygurs. Those fuck them.
Yeah, they're seriously they're just people that you shouldn't even bother engaging with because you're going to make no headway. Look, the other day I was proved wrong on something. I don't remember what it was on Twitter, but this happens regularly. I actually like when I'm proved wrong because when I'm proved wrong, it enables me to get that much closer to being right on everything. And that's my goal. As we said earlier, you can never reach perfection, but at least you can aim for it. And if I already think I'm there, my cup is already full. I have no room for more water. And as soon as you think you have no more room for more water, what are you missing out on? What the hell is going on in chat?
Is that some Oriental wisdom there?
Yeah, actually, that's from Bruce Lee.
Okay,
it's good.
I beat the shit. I killed the quote, but yeah, it's basically if your cup is already full, you have no room. It actually might not have been Bruce Lee. It might have been Jackie Chan movie, but either way,
he loved water and using water for an example. He really did.
Oh, he did. Yeah, pour water in a tea kettle, it becomes the tea kettle.
Yeah,
you must be like water. Yes,
he was obsessed
Bruce Lee was
with water.
genius. I actually want to do a shameless plug.
Just when I thought I was out, y'all drag me back in.
Plug time. Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug for our Sunday show. Thorne and I. We actually host a show on Sunday for those that don't know or haven't seen it, where we have guests. We have 1 to 2 guests per week, and we talk about topical stuff. The last 2 weeks we did comics and the pandering to the social justice warriors and how it is negatively impacting basically the sales of comics, and that they're lucky that the movies have reinvigorated comic book sales because it's basically well, just look on Thorne's channel. I mean, you can see these. We talk for an hour every Sunday at noon Central Time.
Yeah,
and we get the chat involved.
This last one we had the Zero Cool and Opal.
Would you send it? Did you send a link out into the main chat here on the show right now so everybody can have it? You got a link out there, and then I'll make sure
it's on my channel.
I actually don't watch anybody on Sunday. I watch Tigerson Jags on the Stream of Conscious channel that he has. That's just a really tiny channel right now, but he does that with Artemis Brain Sample and Sleep the Geek and him. And so my Sundays are open is what I'm saying. I'm hooked on live streams. When I'm not doing, on the days I don't do them, there's a slot for every of the days. I like Cunt Stream.
Computer not working.
Beckle. And I don't watch TV. This is how I get not only what's going on in the world and different perspectives on it, but this is also how I get my entertainment. It comes from this venue.
My wife and I were talking this morning. Thorne, I'm going to throw out a quick anecdote and I'll turn it over to you for the next 5 minutes. We were talking about getting a drone, which we're going to do in a couple of days for our little family channel that my wife does. And we were just driving along the moped and she was like, well, why don't we just get a drone and then we can do like, cool beach shots and fly the drone over it. And it dawned on me, what a crazy age of information that we live in, to where we're having a discussion about buying a fucking drone to fly over and film, when we're driving around in a moped. And I learned yesterday an interesting trivia tidbit about fish from someone that I had no idea about. The internet is the greatest invention in human history, short of the invention of fire, because we don't really invent fire.
Yeah, none of this would be here without fire.
Yeah, but again, the ability to
learn. The wheel's up there, but the internet's the shit.
Yeah, but here's the thing, because even if we didn't have the wheel, if we had the internet, because of the internet connects 6 billion minds. I know there's 7 billion people, but I was taking the Muslims out because they don't really use the internet. When we can connect 6 billion minds, we can do anything. So it blows my mind when you have an intellectually dishonest person like Chunk who willfully puts up walls to information. I don't understand it. Go ahead, Thorne.
It's really, really very simple because he's making money off of doing it, and that makes me hate him even more.
Yeah.
I hate it when people make money off of sowing discord. Fuck them.
Yeah.
On the left or the right, just go fucking fuck yourself.
Well, it's counterintuitive. It's counterproductive and counterintuitive. You're not going to accomplish anything. You're not going to convert people to your side.
But they're not trying to. They just want to make money.
I know.
It's like TV evangelists. They just want to make money. I don't even think they believe any of the shit they're saying.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think he believes maybe half of what he says, and I think he exaggerates the rest for ratings.
Though sometimes I both on the left and the right, these people will say this shit for so long they start drinking their own Kool-Aid.
Well, how do you not look at your upvotes and downvotes and go, Jesus Christ, 75% of the people that saw my video thought it was shit. Like,
Because
if I
I'm
get a
being
downvote
oppressed.
now, yeah, give me a break. If
I'm
I get a
being
downvote now, go ahead, Thor.
It was like, I'm being oppressed, and all these downvotes on the internet prove that I'm being oppressed and that I am right.
Yeah, if I get one downvote, I get like maybe 30 or 50 views per video. If I get one downvote, that's statistically far less than the Young Turks. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do wrong? Like, how can I improve? You know, what is it that I can do better? Not, fuck the trolls.
Don Imus and I mean, I could go through radio people for a long time. A lot of people have found that when you're doing certain kinds of shows or trying to attract certain kind of attention, that you sometimes you get more attention for longer from people that hate you. So in their case, I mean, kind of like Alex Jones, a lot of people don't like Alex, but they're the ones probably that listen to him all 3 hours of every day. You know, but anyway, there's that.
That's a good point.
Drama also causes a lot, like makes a lot of money. How many YouTube channels have blown up because of drama?
Lots.
Tons.
Yeah, no kidding. So how far into the video did we get, Ogre?
Oh, we got about a third of the way into it. If you want to do part 2 and part 3, I'm down. I really like that video. Maybe we can do it again in the middle of the week.
Yeah, sure.
Sometime first of next week. Maybe next Monday and this coming Thursday. I don't do nothing. We can hit it for another couple hours. I do got to get out of here, folks. I've learned something today. If you tell people for a long enough time that they have something coming, well, they'll believe it. And what it'll come down to is, you know, I don't want anybody to pay my way through life. And now if I get hurt, if I lose everything I got, don't get me wrong, I hope there's a shelter somewhere. I don't want to sound like Ebenezer Scrooge. Like, you know, surely is there no workhouses? Are there no treadmills? Is it not still in full vigor? You know, but that said, those things are there. There's things in place for people that are down and out. And I don't know if I would like that so much. I'm sure that I would do everything in my power to get out of that situation. I know I would. Anyway, until later on tonight, think about logic versus love. Not real love, not the commitment love, but this fake feeling love. Think about feels versus reals. To put it in the modern vernacular, I think is what the cool kids are always saying. Feels versus reals. I would pick the reels, and as we get deeper into another couple streams, I think that's what Ben Shapiro's holding out. Be good to your friends, be good to your family members, be good to your loved ones.
Bye.
Say you're sorry. Be even quick to accept an apology, especially when that thing your friend, your family member, your loved one has done seems to be so huge you'll never be able to forget about it. Because you know what, panel, as you mock me during my spiel, and constant viewers, at a time you think not. Your friends, your family member, your loved ones, your life, and your ability to pay 90% in taxes will depart from you.